just full races into a new era of car and engine designs, and F1 has already discussed what will come next. Technical regulations were overhauled for the 2026 season, the key part being hybrid V6 engines that increase electrical power running fully sustainable fuels, but now the sport could be set to change course and get loud again, returning to simpler V8 engines as soon as 2030. At the Miami Grand Prix, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem told reporters it was coming in a matter of time before F1 returns to V8, saying in 2038 the FIA will have the powers to without any votes. That's the regulations, but we wanted to bring it 1 year earlier. The debate over engine specification is nothing new. The sport has evolved since the first turn of the century, going from V10s with a roaring sound to V8s and then V6 in 2014. The changes largely reflected the direction of the automotive industry, which was pivoting towards electrification and greater emotional environmental awareness. F1 promised an exciting new era, but the car is actually fun to drive. Max Verstappen doesn't really think so, and neither does Lando Norris. Although the V6 hybrid formula was retained for this year, and amping up battery power was crucial for F1 organisation and its governing body, the FIA, when they formed a new rules a few years ago, helped secure involvement from car manufacturers including Audi and Honda, which are F1's future as being in line with the wider automotive industry. But F1 and car industry are ever evolving, meaning that by the time these engines actually make it onto the track, the landscape could have changed again. Back when we discussed current regulations, the automotive companies were very involved and told us they were never going to make another new ICE again. Tom Bassis said they were going to phase out them, and by whatever year they were going to fully electric. Obviously that hasn't happened. That's not the importance of electrification globally, but it didn't happen as much. As car manufacturers have pulled back on their electrification plans in recent years, the prospect of F1 returning to a more powerful V8 engine has become realistic once again. It's a topic that's been discussed in the background for some time, both by Ben Sulayem and Domenicali, and there were discussions about returning to V8, the V10s last year, which were parked. Ben Sulayem's latest comments came at a time when there needs to be consensus on what needs to be the next generation of engines look like, with the conversation set to grow increasingly serious over the next few weeks. It may sound strange to be discussing it over a few weeks, but this is a natural cycle of the discussion that needs to take place. The existing cycle is due to run until 2031, but could be brought forward 1 year, meaning that it could be in place for 2030. The FIA can drive through rule changes at the end of the cycle on its own, but an early change will require manufacturers to vote for such a move. Toto Wolff said he loved V8s, they only had good memories, and for Mercedes it revs high. Going back to V8s would be something that embraces simpler, lighter and cheaper engines that have become different since the V6s were introduced in 2014, which I think would please fans. A viral sounding clip with the affection of how F1 used to sound came at the 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix when Lewis Hamilton paused an interview to listen to Fernando Alonso's V10 engine, saying that sounds good for his title-winning car. Tom Bassis recognised screaming engines do provoke a certain level of feeling amongst people, and he doubted it was a problem for fans, especially the influx of newcomers who have only really seen V6s. A big factor is also how opens the door for a return to V8 is the use of fully sustainable fuels from this year. It's a major step going from just 10% to 100%, challenging teams, fuel suppliers and their engines partners, but it's been regarded as a big breakthrough, one that reduces the environmental concerns of ICEs. The growing influence of an engine's electrical system, up from supplying around 20% of cars' overall power in 2025 to almost 50% this year, has drawn criticism for a number of drivers that put the spotlight very much on the discussion over V8s. Returning some kind of electrical element as part of the engines is likely to be important for manufacturers given their continued push on hybrid tech. Ben Sulayem said there would be very minor electrifications in the new engines, but Wolff warned F1 was not lose connection to the real world, ditching the systems altogether. One party will be particularly interested in General Motors, which of course Cadillac have committed to building their own engine. Should there be an agreement on V8s, it would make sense for GM to focus on their new specification. There's a joint news quoted GM President Mike Roy saying Miami is, although the company was very respectful of the investment made in the V6 engine, if F1 said they were going to bring in V8s, they'll be ready. Ford, which collaborates as Red Bull, said as a company, we'd love a lot of naturally aspirated V8s, we would love to see V8s, he said. Ben Sulayem's comments have made it very clear what's going to come. We recognise the financial realities of the situation, said Wolff. We don't have it easy, but it's well planned and executed. Mercedes can come back with a real racing engine. That may sound like romanticism, but if F1 can find a way to settle an engine that's simpler, cheaper, louder and checks the right sustainability boxes too, then everyone can win. guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.